It is Anything Goes Friday. CPAC is going on. Typically, I'm over there. If I hadn't had the flu or something, whatever it was I had this week, I would be there right now. But it's better that I'm probably not coughing on people there, although I'm not sure I should be coughing on people here. In any case, Charles Drevna is with us. He is the president of the American Fuel and Petrochemical Manufacturers, previously the National Petrochemical and Refiners Association, the website afpm.org. Charles, welcome to the program.
Tom, thanks for having me. Sorry you're not here.
Thanks for joining us. Many people would suggest that your industry is one of the largest welfare recipients in the United States and that you're fighting vigorously to maintain your welfare payments. How do you respond to that?
Absolute fallacy. If you're talking about subsidies, which is the misnomer of the year or of the decade, we as an industry, whether it's refining or petrochemical, oil and gas, we don't get subsidies, Tom. We share in the same tax provisions that every other American manufacturer shares. Subsidies are what was given to the ethanol industry, what's given to the biodiesel industry, what was given to Solyndra. We don't get those. So
there's no petroleum depletion allowance any longer?
Well, that is a tax provision that could be equated to a tax provision for other manufacturers who have a equipment depletion. So it's apples to apples when it comes to tax provisions, but it's not even fruit. It's not even apples to oranges when you're talking about subsidies for the oil and gas industry.
If I chop down a tree and it falls on my neighbor's house, I have to pay something, or at least my insurance company, one or the other, has to pay for my neighbor's house. How come hundreds of thousands of Americans get asthma every year from your guys' products being used, being burned, petrochemical products being burned and used, and tens of thousands get cancer, and you don't pay a penny toward that? We all pay it out of our taxes.
Well, first of all, Tom, there's no causal link between asthma and petrochemicals. That has never been proven. Let me tell you what petrochemicals do.
You're sounding like the tobacco lobby.
Let me tell you. Well, you're sounding like someone who doesn't know the facts, Tom, and that's what I'm hearing here. The facts about petrochemicals are we've saved more lives in this country from the products that we provide daily.
But does that mean you shouldn't pay for your externalities?
Well, we do pay for externalities. We provide. You walk into a hospital and walk into an operating room and you just look around. Everything you see there is a petrochemical. Take your medicine. Take care of chemotherapy. Take any drugs, any pharmaceuticals. That's petrochemicals. Take the Kevlar that protects our men and women overseas. That's petrochemicals.
So are you saying that if I spend 3 days a week working at the homeless shelter and feeding the homeless, that when I chop that tree down and it crashes in my neighbor's house, I shouldn't have to pay his house because I do good things?
Tom, your facts are so skewed that it boggles my mind.
Well, I think anybody can Google the fact that the children who live near highways have higher rates of asthma. Is that because of car paint whizzing by? I mean, I think it's because they're breathing auto exhaust.
Since the 1970s, auto emissions have been reduced to the point where back in if you had your car sitting on your driveway in the 60s and early 70s, you would have more emissions coming from that car on a summer day sitting in your driveway than you do today driving an automobile from New York to California and back.
And a fine thing it is. A fine thing it is.
And I heard.
And you guys fought those regulations every step of the way.
But we implemented them, and we're doing it. We've cleaned up the autos. We've cleaned up the fuel. We're continuing to clean it up. The problem is,
I'm curious. Well, continue. No, I don't want to be constantly interrupting you.
Well,
finish your thought, please.
The problem is not that we're not striving for a cleaner, better product. We do that every day. The problem is this administration and those and their supporters in Congress are trying to magically transform the energy structure of this nation. Overnight, flip the switch, drive up the cost of fossil fuels so high that they become competitive that these so-called alternatives become competitive. That's not the way to make something competitive.
Well,
the way to make it competitive is a free market and consumer choice, Tom. Consumer choice should drive exactly what the policies are in this country.
Well, that sounds nice.
It's not nice. It is nice. It's not in the abstract.
No, I think it's nonsense. We did our show for a week from Denmark 2 years ago. Denmark said, it's costing us about $1 per gasoline burned in the cancers and asthmas in this country, so we're going to raise the tax by $1. Plus, we want to encourage alternative energies because we're going to raise the tax by another $2. They have the highest gasoline tax rate in the world. It costs $10 a gallon for gasoline in Denmark. The result of that is a half of Danes don't even drive anymore. They walk or take public transportation. The people who do drive are driving smaller cars. It's a country that doesn't have any oil reserves. They've dramatically reduced their imports, and they're getting 30% of their electricity from wind power. That seems like a rational thing. That seems like national self-interest. The free market only helps the people, the fat cats who own the free market.
Well, first of all, Tom, you compare the geography of Denmark to the geography of the United States. You compare what consumers want in the United States. You compare wind. It may be very applicable there. It doesn't.
Texas is getting 20% of their electricity right now from wind power.
Yes, and on certain times.
And it's not the free market. It was subsidies put into place by Republican governors.
Well, the wind power in Texas. The one thing about you have to consider, that is not peak power. That is not power that's going to be there every day, 24/7.
Right, so there needs to be storage systems.
Well, yes, there does. When you come up,
so let's
Tom,
move to a hydrogen economy.
A hydrogen economy, and
I'm curious if your industry is planning for this.
We are researching all of these things. But Tom, you've got to when the price of a gallon of gasoline hit $4 a gallon, through absolutely no fault of the oil, natural gas, or refining industries, there was public outcry. The Secretary of Energy, Stephen Chu, a Nobel laureate, a brilliant man, said in order for these things to work, these things being alternate energies, we have got to have the price of gasoline and diesel equal to what's going on in Europe. Now, you want to tell your listeners that they should be paying $8 or $9 a gallon at the pump?
If we did the same thing that Europe did and that China's doing right now too, and that is built. They've laid 5,000 miles of high-speed rail. We have none.
Well,
China is also high-speed transportation of oil from Canada to the Gulf, so we can export it. Our number one export right now is gasoline. If our number one export is gasoline, manufactured export, why is the price of gas so high in the United States?
Well, apparently, Tom, you don't understand world economics, and that statement just proves it.
Well, what I understand is that if your industry chooses to export things rather than sell them in the domestic market, you're going to keep your price high.
Is the price of bulldozers and off-road equipment that Caterpillar ships overseas, if they kept that here in the United States, would the price of bulldozers drop?
If there was a surplus of them, sure.
Well,
people would stop keeping old ones and start buying new ones.
Again, that shows the fallacy of your uneconomic theories, Tom, because exports are good. We have plenty of fuel here in the United States for the demand. We are keeping jobs.
That's why the price is so low.
No, the price is set on a world market. It's not. If
the price is set on the world market, then why did different countries pay different prices for gasoline?
Taxes, Tom. Taxes. That's all. The difference.
You got Middle Eastern countries where gasoline is 40 cents a gallon. You got European countries where it's $10 a gallon. You got us where it's $4 a gallon.
Again, you're comparing the Middle Eastern countries, which are heavily subsidized, and you talk about Middle Eastern countries. Iran has more oil than most countries.
They don't have refining capacity.
They don't have refining capacity. Yeah. So we do. We have it all here.
But you guys control it all. You guys control the refining capacity.
What do you mean? There are 147 refineries in this country, operated by 50 or 52 different companies. No one controls anything.
I'm curious. Well,
listen,
we're out of time. Well, I'll leave you with the last word. Okay.
Well, the last word is we're not an energy poor country. We're an energy rich country.
You're absolutely right. AFPM.org is the website. Charles Drevna. Thank you, Charles.